Azure. So Azure is a services given as a cloud by the Microsoft. Everything managed and hosted on the Microsoft platform. There are multiple different types of services, 200 plus services Microsoft offers, among which the SIEM solution is also one of them. So the SIEM from Microsoft is called as Sentinel. Typically, Azure Sentinel, or you can say Microsoft Sentinel. This is how it is known. So you go here and search for Sentinel. You're going to get as a service the particular SIEM platform, Microsoft Sentinel. I have already created my subscription, and this is how your Sentinel would be looking like. You have the XDR and SIEM in one place, that is different one. So you have typically 4 things: general, threat management, content management, and configuration layers. These 4 things would be enough for anyone who wants to start and grow in the Sentinel space. In the general, there are multiple things like overview, logs, news, and search options. In threat management, you have everything that is needed as a part of the incident response. So you have your incidents to be checked and sort of workbooks, hunting. So if you want to do like the L3 guys, they do threat hunting. If you guys have heard the word threat hunting, so this is a place through which they can easily prepare content for the threat hunting. You have the Jupyter notebooks, any sort of basic coding you want to do. You have the entity behavior, threat intelligence information. So any sort of uh, threats are being faced upon would be shown up here. After that, you have the MITRE attack. So we all know the MITRE attack is a framework of mapping the adversary. So what are the steps taken by the attacker to perform the complete attack? So we can create defenses around that particular thing in the part of the MITRE. You have something called a SOC optimization. So how do we optimize the SOC? And few more stuff, content hub, repository, community, and here is lies the engineering stuff. You want to create rules, you want to create a watch list, some sort of automation rule, few more things. That is under the configuration side of the Sentinel. Now, the maximum things that we are interested is a part of the incidents. Now, by default, you have 0 open incidents. Why? Because I have already cleared up the stuff and I have worked upon. So I will go in the status and select the closed one. I'm going to find in the last 24 hours, I can increase the time range, okay? So in my last 24 hours of time, I got one incident which was closed. So if I click on this, I'm going to get on the right hand side something more information. I can click on view full details. This would open up the complete page of the particular incident. The incident number, the workspace name, description, the events, alerts, and every information that is required to manage and navigate for the analysis. That would be present up here. Now, multiple things we can also. One of the things that I would like to show you is the events. Events are the logs. What are called as events? The information that is happening or that has happened on the device. That is the short description about what is the log. Every vendor provides logs, like firewall has their own logging. Windows devices have their own logging. Linux-based devices, any sort of Linux, you take Red Hat, you take Fedora, you take Ubuntu, etc., etc. Any Linux you take, everyone has its own mechanism of logging. After that, we are writing something. So there are entities overview, you have everything here. So on this incident, which events are part of the particular case would be presented. So total 8 events are combining for this particular alert. Let me open up the events and see. So there's a query attached that I have created. It says that, hey, security event, and give me all the logs or all the entries where the event ID is equal to what is mentioned, that is 4625. In Windows, there is something called as 4625 event ID. You go to the all and check. So whenever failed logon attempt is detected on the Windows systems, so Microsoft have its own naming convention of the failures. That is the idea. So if you write incorrect username or password, if you write your account is getting locked out, you're going to get this particular event ID. I have integrated my device, my machine, my logs are coming in the real time and is presented up here. I can write the query here and multiple things like Azure follows KQL, that is Kusto query language. So Microsoft have its own language to communicate with their platforms. Like for example, Sentinel is one of the service that is offered by Microsoft. If you want best out of Sentinel, if you want to make most, you require to know the basics of the language KQL. That is a necessity for everyone. Like for example, if you want to write a rule, you require a query. You want to search something, you require a query. How do we write a query? With the help of KQL. The query has something called as functions, operators, and keywords that we need to know. What we want to search and something called as table and databases here, that are the primary. For example, as of now, we are searching security event. Let me show you the complete log analytic portfolio. If I go into Sentinel again, and if I go to the logs area where we search any sort of logs, and you have the query. So I'm going to write, hey, security, see, these are all the tables. Okay. If you want to see the tables, you see the log management is your database. Microsoft Sentinel is your database. Under database, you have the tables. Under tables, you have the columns. And under columns, you have the raw data. That is a typical structure of the how searching would be performed. So we are going to run security event table, security, and it would automatically give you the ways. Security event. I'm not writing anything, just write security event in the last 4 hours of time. Give me all the data. Okay. So I got around 940 logs in the last 4 hours of time. You see, I can click on this to get everything. You have the source system, account name, account type, computer, event source time, channel, task, and few more lots of information that is getting ingested here. Now, my task is to analyze this particular piece of information at a good level. My analysis should start from here. I can now, this is all data, like it seems like an Excel sheet. How do we group parse particular data properly? For example, I want to group. I want to query how many failure attempts were detected out of the 940 log. I can write, hey, show me all the data where event ID is equals to which one we were checking on the 4625. I'm going to write. Now we can also check here. See, if you go down, there is an event ID column. And event ID column has the data 5059. We are not interested in 5059. We are interested in 4625. In the last 4 hours, give me all the logs which has 4625 as their event ID. Let me just run it up. Previously, when we run just security event, 940 logs were there. Now 12 attempts are there. Nessus, Agam, and Shvam. These 3 users are part of it. You see the account name? The computer name is mine only, but I have different accounts attached to the same device. All the time is in UTC. You can select your local time or whatever you want to see, every time zone. Let's say you're working for an American customer. So just select whatever time they use. For example, UTC -6, Central Time sort of thing. Yeah, Mountain Time, take it up. So this would be as per their Mountain Time, so that you are not missing up with the timelines. If you're investigating an alert or the logs and customer asks, hey, can you tell me what was the time when the first failure was attempted for the particular user? And if you just say your time instead of customers, they might get something wrong in their approach that, hey, we are not finding, whereas you're finding. So we have now created a where is a statement, or which would allow you see this is blue, so this is a reserved keyword. It is an operator. This is an operator, equals to 4625. Instead of this, you can write multiple things. For example, event ID between in equals to between. So if I write between 4600 till 4700, if I write this way, let me write and check this. Now I'm thinking, see, still, if you check the event ID would be there somewhere here. Yeah, see 4672, 4624, and few more stuff. Okay, 2 event IDs we are getting. Now, if I want to only see in my output the event ID that I'm interested, not every column. You see time generated, account type. So what I write? We write here project statement. Project and column B which we require. Event ID I require and account name. So 2 columns only would be displayed. The event ID and the account name. Now I want to see the count. You see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 similar. This is different, and again different. Okay, but there are multiple unique counts. So I want to summarize. I want to have a grouping. I can write summarize count of account. Let me just write one more statement. We are going to learn complete KQL in depth so that we all understand how do we write and search what we require. Now you see, this particular user has 5 in count. This has 4. Anti-authority has 118. That is something very abnormal. If you see the average, everyone is less than 10, but only 1 is on the top. Now I want to sort that, hey, can you make an arrangement into a ascending to descending order? So I can write sort operator, sort by count into descending order. So now 118, then 5, then 5, then 4, then 2, and 1. So this will be our output. So this is how it would be looking like. And we can say one more thing, that pipe operator, render, and we want a pie chart. So automatically a chart would be created for our data. Oh, so this is how it looks like. Percentage automatically getting created. And Now you might be aware like how my device is getting communicating with the Sentinel. That is because I have already created my data connector inside my device. So there is a one data connector that is added. I'm going to add few more. So I have a bunch of data to be created and used up. You see one is in green, security events via the legacy event. This is the connector that I'm using from Sentinel for collecting my Windows logs to my Azure platform so that I can monitor this particular case. If you see here, total of around 1000 logs have came up. And the last log was received 10 minutes ago. This is how it works. So complete Sentinel, we have also have Splunk. So Splunk and Sentinel plus Curator also we have. So overview sessions and end-to-end, whatever we want to learn, we are going to deep dive into particular case. And it would be a fun for all the cases. Just to answer KQL, KQL is a language that is designed to read and navigate the data for Microsoft services. So it is similar to SQL, like a query language. It is not a coding language, but yeah, it's a query language. For example, KQL. Just search KQL, and if I go to the official documentation from Microsoft, so this is a language. So Microsoft Fabric, Azure Data Explorer, Azure Monitor, and Sentinel. These all products can be used with the help of KQL. We are only interested in Sentinel. Monitor, Data Explorer, these are the data engineering stuff that is out of the scope for us. So Sentinel also uses the same function. So you have the query language here, and you have the functions, data types, everything. We are interested here is on the tabular operators. So you have all the listing. We use the like we use multiple operators, like where operators was one of them, right? So where is there here? So if I just show you, so it is just to effectively search and navigate inside the Sentinel. So it's not a query, but like not a things looking like coding, but yeah, basic query language we should be knowing. So we can start with basics. So it's not bit harder. Like once we use few of them, the C project also we use, where also use, and basic logics we should be knowing of. So that is expected because, for example, why we require KQL? If I want to write a rule, let's say I want to detect, someone tells me in my management thing, hey, detect all the applications that are third party outside Microsoft. Sorry, my bad. Now this is my problem statement. I want to detect all the applications that are being installed onto the device that are non-Microsoft. For example, let's say VLC media player, 7-zip, Chrome browser. These three are the example I want to track down. Now, if I start building a rule, for example, if I try to create a schedule query rule, I would write here third party application detected. This is my simple rule that I want to create. This rule detects non-Microsoft applications. Now, severity, I can select application installation comes under the maybe persistence. So here we go and create something, different types of applications, create or modify system process. I am going to install scheduled task or job, etc., etc. So I'll just select a few of the MITRE. Now, after that, when you click on the next, it would ask you to query. Now, without query, you cannot move ahead. You require the query to be utilized for installing or creating the particular rules. So query is must, and query should be correct. It would be defining up. If I write a wrong query, if I write anything, it would check whether it is good or bad. if it is getting failure, and if I directly go to review and create, it would not allow me to create a rule. So KQL is must for anyone who wants to learn the Sentinel.